Disney buckling under the thumb of Donald Trump and showing Jimmy Kimmel the door isn't just about that. It's about a broader plan by Donald Trump to continue to crush the Democratic Party itself out of existence. He's already gone after its icons. He's already gone after the Barack Obamas, the Clintons, the Letitia James, the Adam Schiffs of the world. And now, though, we are looking at the assault on free speech, Democratic Party free speech, Democratic Party free speech in the form of fundraising, as he goes after the voter rolls. This is all an attempt to destabilize the only other party in America. As any good dictator, he wants to have a one-party rule. And now we got to call it out. So the Kimmel piece of the puzzle, along with Colbert, along with Terry Moran, along with Matthew Dowd and all the others, it is just one piece of a broader puzzle of Donald Trump and his henchmen to try to destroy everything that is right about the Democratic Party and try to reshape it in the minds of the American people. But he won't. We're bigger than he is. Our ideals and ideas are bigger than he is. And you're here, and we're here together on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. David Frum used to be in the Bush administration, a Republican, called it out in this clip. Watch the clip.
We don't have to speculate about what comes next because President Trump in his televised speech after the assassination of Charlie Kirk and his aide Stephen Miller have already told us what is coming next. And they previewed it back in April. What is coming next is a crackdown on Democratic Party fundraising. That President Trump said we are going to go after those who raise funds for causes we don't like. Stephen Miller said that even more emphatically. In April of this past year, Donald Trump, at his personal command, ordered his Department of Justice, an astonishing thing for a president to do, to investigate the Democratic Party's small dollar donation platform, ActBlue. The attack on Democratic Party fundraising is coming next. The suppression of Democratic Party speech is coming next. Look, Donald Trump has maliciously attacked the standards of living of ordinary Americans with his tariffs. He's enormously corrupt. He's taking billions of dollars in meme coins and other kind of crypto coins. He cannot afford a free and fair election in 2026. And what he thinks about every moment of the day is how do I head off a free and fair election in 2026? And what is happening now is part of a hastily developed strategy to seize this opportunity created by this terrible tragedy, afflicting a family, afflicting many people who admired him, to make political competition in the United States unfree and unfair.
Now, let me put it in perspective. Just in the last couple of days, Donald Trump's Department of Justice and his Civil Rights Division, run by election denier and voter fraud advocate Harmeet Dillon, ably supported by another MAGA right-wing election denier who works in her office as well, are going after states for not turning over voter data, including now Oregon and Maine, in federal court. This is what Donald Trump's Division of Civil Rights and Voting Rights is doing on the job. They've already convinced and they've demanded voting data, your personal voting data from 27 states. Now, in our constitutional framework of federalism, the states are responsible for running free and fair elections, not the federal government, even when it relates to federal elected office. They set the means and manners and times and methods for running elections, even for federal office. And under the false flag and guise and lie of voter fraud, the Trump administration is using as a weapon the Department of Justice to go after states, mainly blue states, and 27 of them, to get their voter data. They're meeting resistance by the secretaries of state of those states, by the attorney generals of those states. And that has required, therefore, the Department of Justice to file suit. The number 2 in her Department of Justice in the voters section is Maureen Riordan, a former MAGA lawyer for a major conservative MAGA law firm that frequently went after states for voter data. They want the voter data. They want the big, beautiful database. They're letting Homeland Security feed in 33 million voter records that they've already obtained from 11 states, maybe one of your states. It includes Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Among them have turned over their voter data. So now they're getting their hands on who are the Democratic voters. And they're filing lawsuits to get more. Now, so far, no federal judge has agreed that the states are required to turn over the federal government voter data. In fact, quite the opposite. Federalism and the checks and balances says that voter data stays with the voters and with the states. But it doesn't mean they haven't tried. And they're not continuing to try. And they've already gotten their hands from red states, but also purple states. They've already gotten their hands on voter data, and they're running AI across it to see if they can destroy the Democratic Party. Then another aspect that David just talked about in his clip is fundraising. Starting in April, the Trump administration issued a memorandum to go after, by name, ActBlue. ActBlue is the leading platform for Democratic fundraising out there. It has raised already, just since Donald Trump announced that he was going after them, under the false flag and under the guise of trying to get to the bottom of straw man contributions from foreign entities. We'll talk about Donald Trump and straw man and foreign investment in him and his family in a minute. But they're claiming ActBlue has raised $400 million just in the last quarter since they've been attacked. And they're using the money to roll up new companies that are out there with data and microdata and AI to help the Democrats win. Donald Trump hates ActBlue, and so he's trying to destroy them, putting them on his enemies list. So attacking the icons of the Democratic Party, attacking voting, because the only way Donald Trump can succeed, given the failures of his administration, given his dictator behavior, given his assault on the First Amendment, on the Fifth Amendment, on the Fourth Amendment, is if he tries to steal the election, steal the midterm election, and steal the 2028 election. And that's where voter data and fundraising all comes together. Speaking of straw man foreigners making investment illegally in America, what about Donald Trump? First of all, Reuters or AP did a review of his own donors, and he's accepted donations from, for instance, he accepted $1 million from the wife of an African oil magnate. Talk about foreign money is supposed to be under criminal laws and our election laws, be investing in our elections and our candidates. He also took a large donation from a Chinese business person resident in China who used as an address a La Quinta Inn. Now let's turn to how Donald Trump is making his real money, taking in foreign investment for his family through his cryptocurrency company in the billions of dollars. The United Arab Emirates just invested $2 billion into Donald Trump and his family and his sons and the special envoy in the State Department, Steve Witkoff, who owns World Liberty Financial, $2 billion. That's a foreign investment. Would you not say so? And then what did they get in return? Not just access to Donald Trump and his Commerce Department, his Treasury Department, his State Department, and warping policy, but they got something tangible. They got artificial intelligence chips that were given to them in return for the $2 billion investment in the Trump family fortune. He's worried about ActBlue and the $25 contribution somebody makes on ActBlue and where that's coming from. He's not worried about that. It's just a full frontal assault on the Democratic Party and, by extension, our democratic government and our democratic ideals. So the resistance starts large and small in different places. It starts in the courtrooms when lawsuits like trying to get voter data are filed by the Department of Justice. And the resistance by the attorneys general in the 23 states that are blue, and the secretary of states of those states, and others that are responsible for voter and voter data protection and to protect the data of their states. It starts with the lawsuits about the fundraising. ActBlue hasn't had to file their lawsuit yet. Allegedly, there's some sort of investigation around them, which is only helping their fundraising. But should they come for ActBlue, we've got to support ActBlue and any other fundraising arm of the Democratic Party. And then we're going to talk about Democratic free speech and that of the Democratic Party in the wake of their weaponizing, sorry for that term, the death of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was a man who held a lot of hateful, disgusting, vile, misogynistic, anti-immigrant, anti-black and brown, anti-DEI thoughts. And yes, anti-Christian thoughts. So he died in a shooting. But let's get the facts straight. And let's stop the campaign to venerate him or elevate him or make him a martyr, which again is a false flag to allow Donald Trump to crush dissent. Jimmy Kimmel didn't lose his job because he made a comment about Charlie Kirk and the mourners and the crocodile tears around that. He lost his job because Donald Trump wanted Jimmy Kimmel off the air along with Stephen Colbert. What's next? Comedy Central's next. Jon Stewart's next. South Park is next. He wants them all off the air like any dictator. He doesn't want criticism in America. Jimmy Kimmel's off because there's a giant $6.2 billion transaction that ABC and Disney's involved with their leading television affiliates. And the FCC under Donald Trump and Brendan Carr have to give approval, and they're not going to because they're focused on the, quote, vile comments of Jimmy Kimmel. Where's the FCC about the vile comments to kill people in homeless encampments and euthanize them that Brian Kilmeade made on Fox? Where is that? Where I don't see Brendan Carr going on to right-wing podcasters and declaring he's going after Fox News, do you? We see the assault on the Democratic Party. We see the assault on critics and the attempt to crush dissent. And the federal courts are going to be the first firewall. The federal appellate courts are going to be the second firewall. And then we're going to have a hand-to-hand combat at the United States Supreme Court. But we're going to do it all together. I'm glad you're here on Legal AF on Thursday. Hit the subscribe button here. Come over to Legal AF Substack, and we'll continue to build that community as well with your paid membership. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.